guys, I'm going to talk about the Run Disney modified half marathon. Well, that's what I'm calling it anyways. Probably like 8 months ago, my best friend and I signed up for the Run Disney half marathon. That was just this last weekend. January 6th, I think is the date that we did the race. I haven't posted in a while, mainly because I've been dealing with a lot of pain. I started running. I was doing pretty good. I'd gotten my pace up a little bit. I had started like a 22-minute mile. Had finally gotten down to a 15. The race had a 16-minute mile cutoff, so I had a lot of work to do. But in there, I hurt my lower back going down my hamstring pretty good. So I was going to physical therapy and we stopped running. About the time I was released, that tightened up pretty quick when I tried to run. So basically, I hadn't done anything for about 2.5 months leading up to the race. Actually, it was probably longer. I had that wrong. A solid 3 months, because I actually found a video of me doing an exercise that I think irritated that muscle on September 23rd. So probably 3 months of not running. I decided that I was going to make the best of it. I have bigger goals with running and they're bigger races, and I thought that there would be some benefit to me showing up, getting to the starting line, going through the whole corral thing, and this had 20,000 racers, so you know, it definitely would give me the experience. I did some research into what happens if you get swept off a Disney race, and it looked like it wasn't horribly painful experience. So I thought, if it's gonna happen, this is the place for it to happen. It's the best setup for it. So I went there with the expectations of maybe making it 2 miles. Not being able to keep that 16-minute pace for 2 miles was pretty much a reality for me. I was hoping that being in some warmer weather would help from the attempts that I had made up here. Just without getting your muscles all tightened up like you do up north in the cold. Yeah, so we got there, we lined up. Well, let's say we got there, we stayed at a Disney resort which had shuttles. I want to clarify that. We had shuttles, so we took a shuttle. We had to get up at like 1:30 in the morning. Got the shuttle around 2:30, 2:40. Okay, Mo, what time is it? Next time. 2:22 in the morning, and these two idiots are going to catch a bus to run a race. Is it cold, Mo?
Yes.
On the bus to Epcot, but we have a couple stops. Guessing we still have to go to French Quarter. Got over to Epcot, and then we had to walk quite a bit to get to the start line, maybe a mile. It felt like a mile, it could have been less. Sat for a little bit, and then there was still a lot of time, so we got a picture with Tigger just to get it. And then we went and checked out the corrals. I was nervous about having stomach issues. That's my biggest fear with these things. So I kind of took my time. My friend came with me. She was going to start in Corral F with me. But I told her to go ahead. She's faster than me, so we weren't going to be together long anyways. And she gets cold because she's from Florida. And I said, go get in your corral. So there was a long time from the very first wave until my wave went. And I want to say it was 45 minutes to an hour, maybe longer. I think the races started, bad weather was coming, so they actually told us the night before that they were shortening the race, and this is where the modified comes in. We'd gone to the expo the day before. Personally, I felt it was a little underwhelming. And I don't mean that bad, other than you kind of expect some samples and things like that from some of the vendors, but it was really just all sales. But it was nice to see what was out there, and there were some really good vendors there. So when I say underwhelming, just for a race that size and what you paid, you kind of expect to get to try some new products out, and there really wasn't an opportunity for that. But anyway, so there was no word at the expo about the race being shortened. And so that night, we started to get messages on our phone, and there was actually a prompt on the resort's TV, which was nice, and they left us a message because they knew a lot of people were there for the races. So anyways, back to the corrals. We're in the corrals, and there was like 9 waves in my friend's wave, and that's like, to me, it was like insane. We're just waiting and waiting to go. So we were on our feet for a solid like 2.5 hours, which wasn't good when you have plantar fasciitis. Nothing was really looking good for me in this race. But anyways, finally, our opportunity came. There was 2 waves. Well, I don't know how many waves there was. I was in F, but I don't know how many waves were within F, but I was in wave 2, and I was at the front of wave 2. And all I can say is that I started to panic. I look at the person next to me. We've got the ribbon right in front of us, and I'm like, I am the slowest person in the world. I am the front of this pack. And I just started to like panic a little bit. But finally, I kind of calmed down. Just said, do my best to kind of get out of the way. The girl next to me is like, it's going to be okay, you're fine. And I was. So we got running. That first mile, it felt like a lifetime. I kept thinking to myself, I don't know where I am in the wave. I don't know if there was another wave behind us. And I don't know where the balloon ladies are. So part of the process of getting swept is you need to stay away ahead of the balloon ladies that maintain a 16-minute mile. So if they start behind you, you have a little bit extra time. All I know is it was somewhere between 1 and 2. I think mile 1 felt like it took forever. And it wasn't long before the guys on the bikes came up and were starting to tell us how far ahead we were of the balloon ladies. So I remember the first time that I was told was that I was 4 minutes ahead of the balloon ladies. And I thought, okay, but I can lose that time fast. So I'm going to keep moving. I had set my Garmin to do 30-second intervals of walk jog, but I had completely lost track of that at this point. I was running on the walk and walking on the run. And there were so many people. I even found I had to weave through people, which started to get kind of monotonous because I was doing a walk jog. I would jog ahead of them, they'd come back, jog. So we were just kind of going back and forth for a while there. Got to mile 2, still ahead of the balloon ladies, and feeling like, hey, I'm at mile 2. I only thought I was going to get 2 miles in. I see this woman like limping, and I think, here's my opportunity to get out of this race because I'm hurting. It's been 2 miles. I'm already hurting. And I'm looking over, like my leg is all tightened up. My feet are killing me. We've been on them, and my back is starting to hurt. And I look at this woman, and I think, I could just go wait for the shuttles with her. I've got I've got my excuse, right? And then my stupid brain is like, no, Joe, you said you were going to go until you got picked up. So I kept going. Somewhere between mile 3 and mile 4, I feel like we got like a less than 2-minute warning of the balloon ladies. And then my friend called to tell me that she finished. And I said, hey, I'm about to get picked up. I should be there shortly. I'll see you soon. They're going to pick me up. They're right behind me. They're creeping up on me. Not to mention that I've had to pee this whole time, but I can't stop because I don't have that gap in time to go and use the restroom. So we go around. We don't go into Magic Kingdom because the race has been modified to 7 miles. I turn around. We're quite a distance in front of the Magic Kingdom entrance. Turn around, and I think, you know what? Let's just do what you can. Let's get moving. So I start trying to move a little bit more, like jog more than I'm walking. I keep going. Next thing you know, I'm at mile 4, and I'm like, wow, like, I thought I was only getting 2 miles in, so I was getting kind of pumped there. I decided to finally take another gel. I wasn't going to because I felt like I was going to get picked up, and I was like, it's just a waste at this point. So I take another gel, and I try to run some more. And so somewhere just after mile 4, within mile 4, we hit a water station, and I come out of the water station, and all of a sudden there's these 2 women right ahead of me speed walking with balloons, which I believe they're not human because I could not believe that they could walk at the pace they were. But anyway, here's these ladies with balloons, and I'm like, hey, whoa, are you guys just walking with balloons, or are you the balloon ladies? Like, I really was hoping they would say they're just happen to have balloons, but this guy kind of chuckles and he looks at me. He's like, no, it's them. And I thought, oh crap, I'm about to really get swept. And I was so ready to give up at mile 2, and trust me, the amount of pain in my leg, my feet, and my back was telling me, that's it, you're done. You're done, you can finish. But no, again, all of a sudden I'm motivated to stay ahead of these ladies. I happen to run into a fellow cupcake. That gets me a little bit of motivation. We're still going. I'm going back and forth with the balloon ladies at this point. I'm trying really hard to stay up in front of them. And we get into like an employee entrance of Epcot at this point, I believe. And we're going through this, like, I don't want to say tunnel, but like literally just like employees on either side of you cheering you on, and you get this another boost of energy out of it, which was really awesome. So I go through this. I hear the guy with the balloon lady say something about they had really hoped to grab a guy, and I thought, they're about to cut us off. I'm done. I don't remember seeing the 5-mile mark, but I've passed the 5-mile mark. The balloon ladies pull their balloons down and they start walking, and I look back and I'm like, I made it? I knew the race was now 7 miles. I was probably 2 miles away, and I didn't see how I could make that other 2 miles. I literally physically did not think I could finish those 2 miles. And I turned and said, did we make it? And they said, just keep going, just keep going. So I keep going. At this point, I can't jog anymore. I just can't do it. And all of a sudden, like hundreds of people come around this building and merge with us. And I'm super confused at this point. I'm like, was there another race going on? Some have different color bibs, so I've never done this race. I'm super confused. Next thing you know, I have literally waddled my way to mile marker 7. I'm thinking, that was 7 miles. I'm not even looking at the distance on my Garmin. And I see the finish line, and I cross the finish line, and I go right to the medical tent. I was hurting. I needed to stretch. I didn't even have the energy to go looking for my friend. I just went right into the medical tent and did a little bit of stretching. I was trying not to hyperventilate. Somehow that tends to happen when you stop all of a sudden. I don't know what it is, but it's happened to me before. So I go to the medical tent and get up. The woman, actually it was a young woman helping me, was super nice, was telling me she was about to do her first half, so we were talking about it a little bit. And then I go off and find my friend, and we go on, and that was basically it. I finally look at my Garmin and see that I did 6 miles, and figure that because they were trying to get us all off the course by 8, they cut whoever was kind of lagging behind with me off, and they sent us straight to the finish and didn't send us around Epcot. My friend had gone around Epcot, so I was short of just over a mile of what Monica did. She did like, I think 7.25 miles, and I did like somewhere around just under 6.1 miles. So I can't even say I did a 10K, but I finished the race that I was given, and I'm calling it the runDisney modified 13.1. I still haven't done a half marathon, but I'm really happy with myself because I wanted to quit. I wanted to quit way back when, really at mile 1, when I realized, like, geez, this is a lot harder than it's as hard as I thought it was going to be, and I don't know if I have it in me. And I literally, that last mile that I was doing when I was caught up with the balloon ladies was, I don't know how I stayed up with them, but I knew if I had any further to go, at that point, I knew I was somewhere around the time frame where I was going to get picked up, because I just could not do it anymore. I just had, physically, I couldn't get myself to run anymore. The muscle in my leg was too tight. My leg was popping at that point. My feet were on fire. And my back pain was nagging me. So, probably my proudest race, because I was definitely resolved to getting picked up back at mile 2. I literally had just said, I'm just going for the experience. My friends are gonna be there. I'm gonna get to hang out with friends. So that's good enough for me. And yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing what you can do. That your mind messes with you so much. And I think I probably could have possibly, well, I don't know if I could have picked up my pace much more to get in that mile, because I don't know when they cut it off, but I think that there was potential that I could have gone a little bit further than I thought I could in the moment. Just because your mind is telling you to stop, all these triggers of pain are telling you to stop. Your mind is so powerful in persuading you to listen to it. It's done. It wants you to give up. Things hurt. You can't go any further. Why are you here? So many things run through your head. And I guess what this race taught me is I'm a little bit more mentally strong than I realized. I'm more physically strong than I've given myself credit for. I was in I had a very good amount of pain the 3 days following the race, but it was mostly plantar fasciitis pain in my feet, which was bad because we did the parks afterwards. But it was just like muscle soreness from moving more than I've moved in the last 3 months, so I can't even complain about that. If you hung in there for 15 minutes of me talking about the race, which I actually love talking about, because somewhere there's someone like me that's athletic but very overweight, struggles to keep the weight off, and struggles with that idea of who they could be if the weight was off, and how much better you could be if the weight was off. And I struggle with kind of accepting where I am sometimes. And yeah, it's hard to explain. I don't give up. I think, I was talking with a friend who was talking about like the college days and how I would just keep going. It's funny because I am extremely slow, but I have this hard time quitting. I will sacrifice myself. I remember telling the physical therapist I won't do anything to hurt myself in the race to keep going. If I'm hurting, I'll stop. I didn't do that. I didn't stop. I just can't. So I thought I was going to get my first DNF, and I didn't, technically. And after all the pain I went through, I definitely want to do it again. The race itself is a great experience. It's a great race, very well organized. I don't even think I would say, I think they should change anything for the slower runners, because I entered the race knowing that I'm a slow runner. So I can't have that expectation for them to put me up ahead of the faster runners. The course is too crowded, and it wouldn't be fair to the faster runners. So, yeah, I can't even have that expectation of the race directors. I think there's a lot of logistics involved, and then you have tens of thousands of people that are trying to go to the park that day, and you have to have it done by a certain time. So I think, yeah, I want to do it again, but I want to be more prepared. And there's always a risk going into something like this when you know you're not prepared, that you might come out discouraged and lose your motivation. Luckily, that didn't happen. I'm just more motivated. I want to find, and I feel like, wow, if I could do that 6 miles and I was in pain, but if I actually was training better for it, and I get up to 6 miles, well, I could actually finish a 13.1. I actually left there feeling like I am capable of finishing within the time restraints. A lot of the races have a 16-minute mile pace. So, yeah, more progress to being a runner, more progress to my big goal, which is getting on the fundraising team for Tufts for 2025, because I didn't make it for 2024, which was a blessing in disguise. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you if you hung in here for this whole video. As I ramp things back up, I hope to post more. It's just hard because like I didn't get a lot from the race, so I try to put a little bit in the video. But there was no time. There was no time for me to fiddle with my phone and stop and talk. And I find that I do a lot of my workouts on my own, and I'm not really into staging any of my videos, so that's why I haven't had a lot of posts, because that's hard for me to do, to get the video, or be in a place, like if I'm at Planet Fitness, I don't want to leave my camera laying around and film people that don't want to be filmed, so it's hard. It's hard to get video. So I grabbed some clips. I don't think I did anything on the run, but I did a little bit before, some pictures after. Yeah, so thank you again. Bye.